Good day. SmallBizDavid here, and we actually have created a somewhat of a special HOA, kind of unplanned, last-minute type program, which is okay. Small businesses need to take advantage of opportunities, and I've invited two individuals from the community to participate in today's discussion because, number one, Vivek said, David, he started asking me some very compelling questions about the community, and I was loving it because now is the time of the year that all small business owners must evaluate what is happening in your business based upon the first 8+ months of 2014, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what needs to be changed, so that on January 1, 2015, you are not going into the exercise of evaluating what it is that your business does, what it is that your business needs to do. You're actually doing it. You're actually engaging in your plan, in your strategy early on. And small businesses do not do a very good job of going through this process, Vivek. We'll talk about a little bit about a process in a moment, but let me introduce the two individuals. If you hang around our community at all, or you follow me at all, you know that I personally actively engage with both these individuals. Interestingly enough, and I just thought about this now, guys, I started with Vivek on episode number 1 of his HOA in the background on the panel, and I started with William Bill Rock on his first HOA that started just a couple weeks ago, and I'll let them tell about that. But gentlemen, if you will unmute yourself, and I'll introduce Vivek first because he is actually the driving reason that we are doing this HOA. And Vivek, welcome. And first, I want to thank you for being a very engaged member of this community.
Thank you.
If nothing else, you keep me on my toes, and I need to be kept on my toes and challenged, and that needs to happen to me because really, my whole thing, my whole life, my what it is that I do, I am driven by challenge. Challenges when people say, "Well, David, I challenge you to do this," or "David, you can't do this," and if I really think it can be done, then I put together a plan and a strategy to have some fun and make sure that it does get done. But Vivek, before I give you a chance to introduce yourself, I want to add to your list of credentials, and I would have liked to make you the first monitor in our community. And you don't know what kind of responsibilities that means. But just from a pure community perspective, a monitor is an individual who has the capability, because the original owner, the original moderator of the community, signed them on, and now Vivek will have the opportunity to go on to our community page and do whatever it is that he wants to do, and you better not abuse that Vivek. But I will stop rambling for the moment and want you to introduce yourself and share why you're here today.
I'm here to draw out from you, David, answers to a few questions, and because answers to questions are really important, and these questions are really important in my view. Yeah.
Well,
So,
and in fact, I have seen the questions. You actually posted them in the event stream, so you're not going to be hitting me, hitting me so I don't know with big surprises. But they're great questions, and I told you this after you posted them, that they were very good questions because it really made me take a step back, see what it is that I was trying to do, what I was trying to accomplish, and then we'll share today. Is it happening? Is it moving forward as it should be? Vivek, why don't you share what it is exactly that you do over in the UK, and for people who haven't met you yet?
I mainly simplify people's lives, integrate different technologies, and make it simple. That's my aim. More of that I would come to later. Why I say what I just said, and so on. And yeah, I think David, I think I have showed this presentation to you. So I think, yeah.
Why don't you also share for a moment, Vivek, the theme of what it is that you do with your HOA?
My HOA series is about Prince 2. Prince 2 stands for projects in controlled environments. Controlled environment, and the number 2 there stands for, it's the second version essentially. They had a old version of the same thing, but they have modified it to make it more flexible, more so that's and it's essentially a UK government qualification or credentials, if you like, but it's recognized worldwide, and I am sharing my knowledge. It's not that you need to hire me or anything to learn more about project management. You probably can do it yourself, but hopefully you do it in an easy way, in a simple way, with me.
And I would agree with you 100% because that whole stage of Hangouts you've got, I've watched about every single one of them. I love what I've been learning. So I encourage others to jump out and check your HOAs out. It's very empowering.
Aren't you the one, Vivek, that likes to say, avoid the cowboys and hire the Indians?
Yes.
One of the best lines in all of HOAs. It's one of my very favorite quotable lines. Okay, and one last question before we get going here. You have a book behind you underneath your screen, and you have never had that book there before. And obviously, that particular book caught my attention and my eye because I also have a copy of the book behind me. Why did you put that book there since the last time I spoke with you?
Because this is one of my favorite books. It's also your favorite book. Why I'm saying bring this up today is because my other favorite book is this, and
Yeah.
I shall be talking about this during our little um, investigation.
Last, I don't think I ever told you this, Vivek. Last year, Michael Gerber was celebrating or maybe 2 years ago, oh boy, was celebrating the 25th anniversary of that book.
Mm.
And he put out a special edition of that book, which
Mm-hmm.
he only, I think this is it. I don't want to pull it out right now because the whole thing will be tumbling down. He only printed 5,000 copies of that book,
Okay.
charged $100 for it, and
Oh.
personally signed each one, and I think he even numbered each one, signed and numbered each book,
Mm.
but put 5,000 of them out, and I paid $100 for it, which is worth every single penny. It's a book of great wisdom, great understanding. Basically, to sum it up in one sentence, Michael Gerber believes, and he actually was the first one to really get Incept, and people have tried to copy it over the years in different ways. But Michael Gerber says basically that there's a lot of great ideas, a lot of folks that want to do things, start businesses, but they get into it, they get more into the idea and are not able to step away from that idea and really build a good, solid business around it. And part of building that solid business around it is building, and Vivek and I just talked about this in the last two sessions of Vivek's HOA, that you have to have a system. Every business needs a system, so that if something happens to you and I, the entrepreneur, the owner of that business, if we step away from it, it continues to operate. And you will not have a successful business until that system is in place. And to get to that system, there's a process that has to happen. And so that's kind of been a theme of Vivek's in the last couple of weeks. So isn't it interesting, Vivek, how this stuff all ties together?
Mm-hmm.
And when it does all tie together, we really know that we're doing the right things.
Yeah.
When we can put it all together. Okay, William Rock.
Yeah, I'm in trouble.
A gentleman that I met over a year ago, year and a half ago, maybe already. I don't know. And William has taken a very, very active part. Since I've known him, he's taken an active part in other people's HOAs and engaging in them, getting on their panels, talking about them a lot, in the blogging, in the posting, if you will, that he has been doing. He is as good as anybody I've ever seen in that particular category. And I've been one of the probably thousands of people pushing William to start his own HOA, because William has a very, very keen technology mind, very keen. And he can take a look at things, not just A plus B equals C kind of thing, but to understand, well, why does A plus B equal C? And as a second part to that, does A plus B always have to equal C? Or can it equal something? Is that a fairly good analogy?
Wow, you hit me. That was awesome. I really appreciate that compliment.
That just came off the top of my head, William. That was an unplanned kind of comment. But let me
That's why we call you Small Biz Dave. I mean, come on.
Let me further set it up that your major theme right now is one of the most important themes as far as technology goes in the entire internet, and that is the concept of how can we make what we are doing more secure than it is right now. Now, to that point, and here's another announcement that I'm going to be making that William has very kindly helped me make that determination in my small business. Major impact on how I do business in one aspect of my business. About a month ago, well, actually 3 weeks to be exact, I moved into this new living space. This has been my new studio for, it'll be 4 weeks on Sunday. And as I was getting ready to make the move, one of the things that I thought I wanted to do in my business was to reactivate a server that I actually own. I bought a server for dumb reasons. A whole nother story, but I bought one for dumb reasons about 3 or 4 years ago. And I wanted to, because I have new bandwidth. I have more bandwidth to upload bandwidth. Well, download too, but upload bandwidth than I had speed than I had a month ago. So I asked William for his opinion. Should I reuse that, get that server operating again? Because as we speak, it is not operating. And I am, within the next week, I will have an old website that I put on the shelf for a while. I am bringing it back, and it just so happens the domain name of that website is dreamingwithentrepreneurs.com. I actually had that domain name probably 6 years ago and used it and then got away from it because the reason I had it for marketing reasons. Well, I decided, dreaming with entrepreneurs is at the heart of everything that I do. So William said, David, do not bring that server into your home to use, because I guarantee you, and I think those were his exact words, I guarantee you will have security issues if you try to bring that server into your home and use it. I said, okay. I have all the trust and confidence in the world in William and his decision making when, not everything in life, but certainly in technology.
I'm not perfect, that's for sure.
We live in an imperfect world, William. I guess our desire, our purpose in life is to try to take things, move towards perfection, but never achieve perfection. Did I just read that like in the last 24, 48 hours? Because the moment that you achieve total perfection, you will become complacent, and you will not think about how to make things better. So never, ever get to perfection.
I don't plan on it.
So the exciting announcement is that William already knows he is going to host my new website. And he's going to put it, he tells me, in the most secure environment that can be imagined. And if you want to learn more about that secure environment, I urge you to contact William personally, one-on-one, and let him share with you how to make that happen for your business. Is that a good thing to say, William?
Yeah, and I've got a better surprise for you. We're going to actually, on our next show, I'm actually lining up the data center, and we're going to actually do a live HOA from the data center.
Oh my goodness!
We're
How
gonna have some of the biggest geeks, higher than I could ever imagine to ever be. Now they're not perfected yet, but they're very fine-tuned. Let's just put it that way. And then we'll have a sneak peek because where the NOC, the NOC is, where it's basically the control tower area. We'll be able to look out through the glass and into the data center and see all the blinky lights that everybody likes to talk about. And
but,
then
this is, you know why I'm excited about this, if for no other reason? I can almost guarantee you that my son Jordan has never seen me do a live HOA, and I've done over 200 of them. Now, why hasn't he done that? You'll have to ask him. But
maybe he'll get excited with you. His dad actually hosting a HOA with the data center. That might.
Well, and the reason that I'm going to make him excited, because if he doesn't get excited, I'm going to get his boss excited, because one of the things that Jordan is the chief marketing officer of a company located in Columbus, Ohio, and one of the things that they love to do is build data centers from an electrical contracting perspective. That's what they do for a living. They're electrical contractors. They do some of the fanciest electrical contracting you can do with hospitals. They have done a tremendous amount of hospital work, which has to be the most complex kind of electrical there is any place, just because of all the things that go on in a hospital. But they love to build data centers because they are square or they're rectangle, and they've got all this stuff going into a square or rectangle building into one general area. So I'm going to make sure that my son, even if I have to go to Columbus and do the show from his office.
Well, somehow we just got to get you and him out here, and I'll just do a in real person tour, and you'll get to go inside the entire data center and get a tour all the way down to the battery backups.
Actually, not too far away from you.
No.
They built a data center in Iowa.
Yep, there's a great one right there by. So yeah, there's some fantastic data centers all over the United States and elsewhere, and that's the fantastic thing is, I talk about those type of aspects of the security perimeters. Talk about biometrics. Talk about multiple authentication opportunities, cameras all over them. There's certain things that you just don't want people to actually get to, and there's a lot of effort by a lot of teams to get that secured, and it's never secured. It's always being attacked.
Well, and we know that, and I've always said this, and you've confirmed it with me. If somebody like yourself can write code to make something good happen, somebody who doesn't have all the morals and ethics that you have can write some code to make bad things happen. And we see it all the time. Well, just this week, supposedly Google servers, Gmail servers were attacked, and supposedly there were 5 million addresses published on some servers. I guess they were in Russia. Am I right?
Right, and basically it wasn't necessarily a hack. Google came out and mentioned that it wasn't an attack on their servers. What it was is harvested emails and passwords through spyware, malware, all those different pieces of viruses, and so that's all come off of people's PCs, and so that's pretty easy to grab. And so that goes back to some of the other concerns with even not just your servers. Those are going to be taken care of with the software. Managed service opportunity, like they're taking care of all the security and patching for you. But what are you doing in your office? Are you patching all of the malware opportunities for all of your employees' emails, for example? Are they actually getting scanned through something like a Barracuda spam email filter system that's behind the firewall? There's a lot of different steps that you can do to secure that type of environment. But what happened was all of those passwords and username, they were all collected, harvested for many years. So if you look at some of the people that have gotten attacked is either they haven't changed their password in years. I mean, shoot, I was even on that list. But that's a password that I don't even use. So it's something that's been archaic, but it's still out there. It's on the database, and when you do a little search, you come up with that. And so it's like, what scares me is, okay, how many other opportunities are there? It's like when you start thinking about that one person's login, if they had it on Gmail and they didn't hack the servers, they just had this harvested information. What other locks does your username and password unlock? Is where I think the next focus of businesses need to be, because without that next level of what are they going to do? Well, it's probably already too late if you were a target. So basically, they've already got to your Pinterest account. They probably got to your Facebook account. They probably got to your Etsy store, whatever. Interesting piece when you bring this up. I even got a message directly from Etsy last night in my email saying that I was on that list. So, some of the bigger companies like Etsy, that right there is pure customer service. I don't even remember I had an account there, but they notified me because they did the time and effort in their company to try to secure to that next level, and that is what I'm always looking for. And I get excited when I see that when companies are doing.
Okay, well, I actually changed. Right, I don't know that I had to, but I changed my Gmail password as soon as I heard. Within a half hour of me hearing that announcement, I changed my password. Okay, Vivek, it is time for you to begin your barrage of questions to challenge me to the validity of what it is that we are doing in our Dreaming with Entrepreneurs and Google Plus community.
Okay, let me make a short presentation to set the tone for all of that. And I would be using this, as you know. I would ask David 3 questions in a specific order. I would start with why, then on to how, and finally what. I believe the order is very important, and let me tell you why. David, please can you pin yourself onto the main screen, because I need to do a screen share.
There I am.
Okay.
I did a little song and dance.
Yeah, I have done the screen share, so if you can pin me, people can see the. Yeah, thank you. In a talk at TED, Simon Sinek presents a simple but powerful model for how great leaders inspire action. Starting with a golden circle and the question, why? His examples include Apple, Martin Luther King, and the Wright brothers. This talk, available on YouTube, has attracted millions of views. I have already put the link to the talk with the timestamps in the event stream, but here are the main points. At time 2:05, he talks about the golden circle. He draws 3 concentric circles on the board. He labels the innermost circle as why, then the middle circle as how, and the outermost circle as what. At 5:54, he explains how the human brain works. He then explains the way in which most people communicate, especially marketing people. They start with the obvious, the what. They talk about what their product or service is, features, etc. And then they go on to explain how they are different from the competition. And then they explain why you should buy from them. Simon says this hardly ever inspires action. He says that the outermost layer of brain, neocortex, corresponds with the what level. Neocortex is responsible for all our rational and analytical thought and language. So we can understand vast amounts of data about what the product or service is about. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains. These are responsible for our feelings, but these have no capacity for language. So the marketer may or may not be able to address these parts of our brain. When they fail, the buyer may agree at the what level. But since the marketer has failed to inspire, they would not feel the need to act, and hence they would respond with, "It doesn't feel right." Simon says that when you directly address this part of the brain, you have greater influence on behavior. He then goes on to ask, if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, how can you get people to do what you want them to do? In his famous speech, Simon also says that Martin Luther King gave the "I have a dream" speech. He did not give "I have a plan" speech. So David, it's very appropriate that your community is called as Dreaming with Entrepreneurs, not Planning with Entrepreneurs or Strategies for Entrepreneurs. These are the two books which are my favorites. Start with Why is the book by Simon Sinek, and in this book he expands on his talk and explains it in greater detail. Simon Sinek has given lots of talks. You can find many of them through my website if you want. He talks how big companies, mainly in the US, have given importance to profits rather than their employees. He says if you hire someone for what they do, they work for your paycheck. But if you hire them for what they believe in, then they would work with their blood, sweat, and tears. This is a very important point for small businesses, in my opinion. David, I need to come back into your view, so can you please spin yourself so that I can safely stop this screen share? Yeah, you can actually unpin everyone now, David, so that camera goes automatic. Thank you. Yeah, so let me ask you this first question, David. Why? Tell us your why.
There were two basic reasons why I set up this community. Reason number one was I had set up about a half a dozen communities in Google+, set them up for marketing reasons. Most of them had the word baby boomer in those communities. I am a baby boomer. I have passion for baby boomers. Baby boomers represent the most significant demographic in this country that I have ever seen in my 65 years. At any rate, I found out, and as I said, I set them up for marketing purposes, Vivek, and They were good. I mean, the intentions were good, but in setting up so many communities, I wasn't able to. And here's a small business lesson to be learned. I wasn't able to give the proper amount of attention to the communities. And so I said, I'm not doing this right. People are joining, a little bit of engagement going on, not a lot, but a little bit of engagement. And I want to get more. I want to get people involved more. So I made the decision several months ago that I wasn't going to pay as much attention at all to those baby boomer communities. They're out there. People still post to those communities. I don't get involved in them. And I said, I'm going to take all my attention, all my energy, and I'm going to put it into one community that I call the logical name, Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google+. Because Dreaming with Entrepreneurs has been my company theme, mission, vision, for the last 6 or 7 years since I set the company up. I set it up for very, very specific reasons. So the why was, number one, to create more efficiencies in the way that I ran my business. And then, equally as important as creating those efficiencies was the fact that I really wanted to demonstrate in a community that small business collaboration is what is the future and the success of small business, not just in this country, but anywhere. How can we collaborate with one another? You help me with you offer some kind of service, what your expertise is to my business. I will do the same with you in your business. We will collaborate. So each, in those actions that we take, each one of our businesses are moving forward. They're enhancing themselves. Then what happens is you and I collaborating on our individual businesses, we take a new skill set, a new talent, a new energy to the marketplace for what it is, how we work together and what it is we do. Right now, and here's a summary statement, the three of us right now in this HOA are demonstrating exactly what it is that my mission and my vision is, that we collaborate together. William is truly a technology geek. Vivek is a technology expert. He doesn't think that he has a marketing bent to him, but I disagree with it, because a lot of the things that he does, just because he does and because it's the right thing to do, it's the logical thing to do, are things that we must do for our businesses, to market our businesses. What is marketing? What is marketing? Marketing is communicating what it is that you do, communicating that to the rest of the world. And there are thousands of ways that you can do it. So it's your duty, your obligation as the small business owner to find out what's best, what works best for you. There's the answer to the why question, Vivek. How'd I do?
Yeah, it was a good answer. I still think that your other communities, you from what you told me, you started with the what. You said they are for baby boomers. That in my view, that's a what. Whereas dreaming is a why. You are dreaming. You are dreaming that you create a lot of collaborations. You are dreaming that you create value for lots of businesses, and that's a why. That's a why, and that resonates with the. I mean, the other day I saw a HOA in which our friends, two of our friends, no, sorry, I should say three of our friends, Phil Boyer, Jessica Jewell, and Nora Whalen. They were discussing. They were discussing about the lizard brain, the part of our brain which is like a lizard-like, which prevents you from taking risks and so on. It's actually the lizard brain is the one which actually asks why. That part of the brain keeps asking the question why. It keeps asking. So the moment you answer that question, the lizard part of the brain is with you. Who is listening to you?
There's a flip side to what you just said, Vivek. When you are not able to answer the why question, time to move on.
Yeah,
time to move on.
Yeah.
And you, I never. Thank you for helping me see it in that perspective. And I think the difference is dreaming is a verb. It's got verb roots to it. Where baby boomer is descriptive. It's back to the what as opposed to the why. So at the foundation of every single business must be your ability to ask the why and to answer the why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
What would Simon think about that answer, Vivek?
Yeah.
That was so awesome. I mean, you brought up some fantastic points that goes right back into the holiday season for marketers. What are they doing and why are they doing it are two different things. And then how does the rest of it all fall together, and does it even make sense to even do it? In the first place. So it's like you have to have that checklist, like you've been talking about, for planning. And go through that checklist prior to building your December marketing plan, for next year. Don't put it together in like 3 weeks. Put some at least 6 months, or at least 3 months into it.
Well, at absolute minimum is 100 days. I mean, the planning and strategy process ought to be ongoing. It's a work in progress. Well, your strategy is kind of there. The how you do it is a work in progress, because we don't know, as we sit here, we might have the greatest idea in the world. But number one, we have to communicate that idea. We have to be able to communicate it to the rest of the world, and we have to be actionable in that idea. I mean, those two things have to happen, and if they don't happen, it doesn't matter that you have a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. This is the third part of the first question, actually, and this is a rather harsh question. Hope you like the challenge this question represents. Why do we need yet another community on Google+? There are millions of them. Why one more?
Because I said so. Why do we need it? It's a great question. There's probably cynics and skeptics in the world that say we don't need it. Why we need it is because that's where I want to put my strengths, my energies. That's where I want to put my 40-plus years of experiences into play. That's why we need it. You've heard me make reference to the Entrepreneur's Pledge.
Yeah.
The Entrepreneur's Pledge clearly states, and I took this pledge. The Entrepreneur's Pledge was created by a company and by a foundation in Kansas City, William. And the pledge clearly states that because I am successful in that I am here today, still doing what I've been doing for the last 40 years, I am obligated to share those experiences, the good experiences and the bad experiences, so that other folks, other entrepreneurs, are able to move their lives forward based upon stories of experiences that I can share. Now, having said that, and you've heard me say this before, I believe I can share the answer to any small business question presented, and I challenge the rest of the world to give me a question, the hardest question that they have. Now, I will give the best answer that I can possibly give based upon experience. If I don't have any experience in that question, I will not fake an answer. But what I do have the capabilities of doing is sharing the resources. I am very, very resourceful in small business information. That's what we're all about, small business information. If I don't have the answer based upon experience, I will direct you to somebody who does have the answer based upon their experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have now come to the second question. How did you go about starting the community? This is more of a technical question. The menu options you selected, I know you are not a techie, but that's exactly what I want. An answer from a non-techie person.
Well, thank you for saying that, because if I have a techie question, I'm going to call I'm going to ping either you or William first, because you're my techie guys. Google, we hear how complicated and how complex things are in Google. The reason, if they are complex, it's because Google doesn't do a great job of communicating what it is. It kind of just throws something out there, and we have to figure it out. That's part of our challenge of figuring it out. And that's because the Google folks, I say this with all due respect, the Google folks they're geeks. They're technology geeks. They are not marketing people. They are they are providing a service and a platform that is second to none in its ability to market.
I agree with you and also disagree with you.
Okay, bring it on, brother.
I think there is a Chinese saying. I think it's a Chinese one. A leader is one who makes you think and do things in a way that, in the end, you would say that you did everything. The leader who makes you do that is the greatest leader on planet Earth. Because the leader then, as a person, becomes not really relevant. The people become, we did it ourselves. We found out how to do it, but it's the leader who is guiding you in that direction. So in that sense, if you look at Google's documentation, most of it talks about why. It talks about why, not how, and never talks about what. It talks about why you should do that.
We have to figure out the what.
Yeah.
Well, back to the nature of your question. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think like a technology person thinks. A technology person has to be ultimately, most importantly, concerned with detail. Because if the line of code that you write misses a space, misses a letter, misses something, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It has to be precise. And my mind is not one of precision. My mind is one of conceptual. I am very, very conceptual in the way that I look at the world. When I need to get, when I need to get that detail, I turn to my accountant, or I turn to my technology guys that can provide that. Well, I mentioned in the very beginning, William said, David, don't set your server up in your place, regardless of how much bandwidth you now have. He said, because it's not the right thing to do. Conceptually, I thought it was the right thing to do, because I had better control over things. I've got my own dedicated server, if you will, instead of being part of a bigger picture of dedicated servers, a little piece of that dedicated server. But it was a conceptual response, and William gave me the practical, realistic, better response that here's a better way to do it. So I can set up a community. I say though, and kind of circling around to the answer to your question, Vivek, I say that when you set up a community, they're technology guidelines. There's only certain things that we can do. Those are the line of codes that have been built for us to do what it is that we do. But you need to set up your community with a big conceptual marketing mindset, because you want people to get involved. You want to have involvement in your community, and that's not to say that you can't set up a community for 10 people. That's okay too. That's okay too. But the very first sentence that someone will read as they see a description of my community, of our community, is that there is strength in numbers. That's an entrepreneurial concept. There are strength in numbers. One person can try to do it, but as we collaborate, as a group, as a community, together, we can get it accomplished more efficiently.
So that second part is how to build. How did you build the community? What did you do to attract people to get onto your community?
Well, are you asking a technology question or a marketing question?
I can't ask a technology question to you as such. So yeah, marketing question.
Okay. I take a different approach to things, and what I'm going to say right now is not maybe the best answer, but it's something that works for me, and if it works for me, I do it. I have this belief, Vivek, that things, building relationships, happen one at a time. One relationship at a time. So everything that I do, and I shouldn't say everything, 98% of what I have done to build the community has come from what I call organic. An organic growth, where somehow people find it, and I try to make it easy for them to find it, because I'm out there, doing my videos, I'm out there doing HOAs, I'm out doing YouTubes. HOA is a YouTube, but it's people find their way every single day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I think I'm pretty close by saying at least one person asks to join the community. At least one person. So all the things that I'm doing I don't need 1 million people. I'll tell you what, back to Michael Gerber. You know what my goal is for this community? And it goes right back to Michael Gerber when he talk about numbers. Michael Gerber, in his second most recent book, The Most Successful Small Business in the World. I love the book. Love the book. And I'm going to start sharing excerpts from the book, because there's a lot of lessons to be learned. Clearly, the number one reason for success is because the entrepreneur thinks that when they start something, it can grow by 10,000. Thinking of just, grow by 10,000. That's his rule number one. and I want to have at least 10,000 people in this community because Michael Gerber said that's what I need to have. Do we need to have it to be successful? No, no, but it's a goal. It's an objective. It's a dream. Could I be doing things that'll get me to that number more quickly? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I do them? No, because I go back to this organic thing. People find me however they do, and I'm approaching 2,500 followers. People find me, and as soon as somebody finds me, and I try to figure out why they have found me, then I invite them to become a member of the community. If I think the community will bring value to their life, and I say that all the time as I personally invite one person, I think this will bring some value to your life. If it doesn't, forget about it. Go pursue those things that will bring value to your life. And with guys like you, the two of you in our community, we will bring value to their lives.
Yeah, the last part was how to grow. I think you already answered that. So now we come to what? What are the benefits to the community members?
The benefits to community members are interacting with other entrepreneurs who are faced with many of the same challenges that each of us have. That interaction, the three of us here talking today, something is this has happened every single HOA that I have done, Vivek. And as long as this one thing happens, I am happy, it is successful, and I'm doing the right thing. There will be one new business thing happen out of every single HOA that I do, period. And when that stops happening, I'll stop doing them. I'll stop growing the community. But if one good thing happens every day, every HOA that I do, then I've accomplished my goal and objective. To that point, I have over 750 YouTubes on 2 different channels, and I have never been one to say, "Oh, you got to go to my YouTube and it's going to be the best experience that you've ever had in your life." My channel, and all I want to do is the purpose is to put out as much good small business information as I can, and to put out as much motivational, spiritual kind of information for the entrepreneur, because we've got to keep that entrepreneurial mindset going. It can't stop, because when it stops, the world stops. We've got to keep it going. So I've got to do whatever I can now. Every single day, my analytics, simple analytics, and Google gives me the statistic in a weekly report that they do, which is updated every day. I know that 25 to 30 people go to one of my YouTubes every single day. And if 25 or 30 people, and that's not setting the world on fire, it's not a big number, but more important than being a big number is, once again, if I can motivate, if I can give out some new business information that person has never seen before or heard before, then I've accomplished my objective. And I know just from, I feel it, that I have been responsible for new businesses getting started, because I try to motivate people to start that business. Sometimes I actually know because I'm hands-on. The other times I just feel. I can feel it. And if about 25 to 30 people are going to one of my 2 YouTube channels every day, there's got to be numbers are with me. Something good is going to happen. I look at it as a library. Okay, It's my library. It's my video library. And just go pull a video off the shelf, view it, put it back on the shelf, and move on. Hopefully you've gotten some good information.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have covered what I was going to ask you. Tell our viewers what we have achieved so far. I think you have covered that
I made
as well.
a hell of a lot of good friends. That's what's been achieved. I made a hell of a lot of good friends like you and William. We met on Google Plus. Hopefully someday in our lives we'll meet in real life. We may never meet in real life, but we are meeting in real life. You're in my home. I'm in your homes. I mean, you don't get any closer to that, to real life than that. And you're in the UK. William is in Kansas City. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here we are meeting and having a lot of fun, and hopefully some folks have learned some new things today.
It's fun teaching, David. I mean, David, basically, the opportunity for these type of hangouts is so very important. I mean, we've got, like I said, the holidays coming up. We've got a new year, 2015. How our business is going to really prepare for this, and I really hope that they'll watch something like this, and this will be sent around to other executives to say, hey, look, this is just one, bolt in the whole part of but take that, and then once they have taken that, then look at the series. Go through the planning stages like we talked about today, and really discover what you can actually adapt from that. It doesn't have to be the entire plan, but adapt portions of that so that you have a better opportunity for the next year, and you're more prepared. Most companies that I've worked with in the past have only kind of spent maybe a few weeks on their marketing plan and really haven't got it dialed out what the whole thing was going to end up doing. But once they started to do that, they've started to figure out, okay, I've got a marketing plan now. I've got a financial billing plan. I've got my sales team has actually worked on their plan. And then we have everything else from technicians to whatever it might be, but then every one of those directors come back with their plan, and then you guys go back and discuss meetings, and that's something you can't do in a few weeks. That's something you really have to sit down, fine-tune the actual pieces, look at the executives and say, oh, I like this or I don't like this, and then before you can take it to the staff and the rest of the company, it has to be fine-tuned, and then you present, and then you execute. But if you don't have those things done before the new season, how do you know that you can maybe save a little extra money over here and put it back into your employees? So there's so many different things. I mean, you can even send them to training, like what we're doing today. Then get those sales guys and executives looking at this stuff.
William, you made me think about something. In my career of over 40 years, I can only think of one marketing and sales challenge that was presented to me. I had a big company call me in, and they wanted a solution to a really practical problem, and that goes back probably somewhere around the mid-90s. First time I ever came up with a challenge that I couldn't give a really good solution to. And lo and behold, I've been thinking about that particular one because today's technology, 1995, let's say, or it's 20 years ago. Is it 20 years ago already? Oh my goodness. Well, the point I'm going to make is today's technology, and you talked about when you hit about HOAs in the very beginning of your statement, and that's what made me think about it. Today's technology would provide a solution to that challenge I had 20 years ago and couldn't come up with a good solution. Maybe I should go back to that company now, 20 years later, and give them an update to my suggestion. You know what? They didn't pay me then for my time. They are going to pay me today if I go back, because I'm 20 years smarter. Okay, we've actually pushed beyond an hour here, which is okay. As Vivek likes to say, he will never interrupt good discussion. If the discussion is flowing, he keeps on going. Hey, if the discussion is flowing, we'll keep on going. So I want to thank the two of you for, well, Vivek, I want to thank you for challenging me, because we have demonstrated very clearly today something that I talk about as a theme, and that is take this time right now. Right now, there's 110 days left, I think, in 2014. Take this time and look at the things that you've done this year. Have you made good use of your time? Have you not made as good use of your time as you could? Well, I suppose we could all say that there's always a better way to make use of our time. But look at the things that you're doing. Look at the things that you're emphasizing in your business. Is your business moving forward? If it is not moving forward and you want it to move forward, you have to make some changes. So get rid of those things. Either fix the things that aren't working, or if you can't fix them, get rid of them and set new business goals and objectives for your business. And now is not too early to get started, so that on January 1, 2015, you're not thinking about the process, you're doing the process. Any statements? Actually, I didn't make a major announcement that I told the two of you in the green room that I was going to make today, because I can't give it justice by making the announcement, but I will entice people by saying that tomorrow morning in our community meeting at 10:30, or no, I'm sorry, 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, I will be making that major announcement.
Oh.
So I'll wait till then, because I want to give it justice. It's a great idea. It's a great concept, and I want to give it its due time. Okay. Any summary statements from the two of you?
Protect your company.
Hey, amen, brother. And if you want top-notch security, protection for your company, I cannot think of a better choice than William Rock, Kansas City. Yeah, there we go. And Vivek, you and I have talked a great deal about folks and folks using your talents and your skills, and let me share with the rest of the world, what it is that I like most about your approach to life, and you exemplify it every single time that you and I talk, every single time that I watch you do an HOA. And that very simply, well, you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say, so why don't you go ahead and say it? You know what I'm going to say.
Integrate, simplify life.
You knew I was going to say that. And we'll close with another comment that you made in the event stream, or maybe it was it was personal to me, that one reason why that you and I work well together is that not so much that we think alike, but we do think very, very similarly, and we both emphasize simplicity. I emphasize simplicity in marketing. The message has to be simple. You emphasize simplicity in technology and how you integrate simply. Is that a good enough? My goodness, I've tied it all together here, Vivek.
Yeah, as I always also say, simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. So simple does not mean it's not sophisticated. It's the ultimate in sophistication. So
That brings me to
Didn't
my favorite book, guys. My favorite book is Who Moved My Cheese? And so
really?
if
Never told.
anybody is watching what Google's doing these days, they keep moving the cheese and nobody seems to keep finding it. So it's a very good book based off of some mice, but they're actually considered business owners, and a short story of it. They're in a maze, and they lose their cheese, and they think that they'll just come back in the next morning and the cheese will actually appear out of thin air, right? So after a while, they don't find the cheese anymore, and they start to drift off, go off on their own way. And long story short, basically they can't take advantage of what's happening today. It might be different tomorrow, and Google is constantly proving that on an actual day-to-day effort. Now that they've really fine-tuned the semantic search algorithm and machine learning.
Thank you for bringing it up, William. I do have that book in my library someplace. I am going to find that book, and I'm going to get it down on our main shelf here. Put it up there. It is a great book. It's a short book. It can be read in an hour, I think.
It is, and they've got an audio version of it. I pass that out on my wall all the time, just because it's just something that it always brings me back to one of the CEOs I worked with. I had to read that book before I even actually interviewed, and my interview was based around the book.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for taking time. We have demonstrated very clearly today how for small businesses to collaborate with one another so that together we can move our businesses forward. My name is SmallBizDavid, and I will see you the next time, which may very well be the best time.